There's something unsettling about how calmly this story unfolds. Not because of what happens, but because of how little resistance it meets along the way. Events that would break most people seem to pass through one man without leaving visible damage, and that should make us uncomfortable. This is a drama, wrapped in history, memory, and gentle humor. But the experience it offers isn't nostalgia. It's a quiet test. A test of how we judge worth, of whether we confuse simplicity with purity, and of how often the world rewards obedience more than understanding. The film is Forrest Gump, and what you gain by staying with it is an inspiration. It is a clearer view of how society moves around those who don't fully understand it. The story begins with waiting. A man sits in public spaces, calm and open, speaking to strangers who didn't ask to listen. That framing matters. He isn't chasing attention. He's available. And availability in this world becomes a mirror. What follows isn't a confession. It's a record. Forrest grows up with limitations that everyone else names before he can. His intelligence is measured, labeled, reduced to a number that follows him like a shadow. But something crucial is overlooked. He listens completely. He absorbs without distortion. He accepts instructions without ego. Psychologically, this makes him dangerous in a subtle way, because systems are built to manage resistance, not purity of compliance. As a child, he's physically constrained, bullied, and underestimated. Movement is denied to him until it isn't. And when that barrier breaks, it doesn't just change his body. It defines his relationship with the world. He learns early that motion solves problems. Run, and pain fades. Run, and voices disappear. Run, and complexity simplifies into direction. That lesson stays with him far longer than anyone realizes. At home, he's protected by a mother who understands something society doesn't. She doesn't try to make him smarter. She tries to make him unashamed. Her guidance isn't about achievement. It's about survival. About teaching him rules that keep him safe in a world that won't bend for him. Those rules are simple. Do what you're told. Don't question too deeply. Keep going. And those rules work almost too well. As Forrest enters school, then adulthood, he doesn't strategize. He responds. When someone tells him to move, he moves. When someone gives him a task, he completes it fully. Not creatively, completely. Completely. This is where the story quietly shifts from charming to disturbing, because in a merit-based society, effort is praised, but intention is rarely examined. Forrest succeeds, not because he understands the game, but because he never questions the rules. He excels in sports, because running has always been his answer. He enters the military because obedience feels familiar. He survives combat not through tactics, but through momentum. Each success reinforces the same message. If you follow instructions perfectly, the world rewards you. But this reward system has a blind spot. Forrest doesn't rise because he's valued. He rises because he's useful. Around him, others struggle in more visible ways. His closest friend is intelligent, ambitious, and deeply angry. He understands the world too well to accept it quietly. He sees injustice, hierarchy, and hypocrisy everywhere, and that awareness eats at him. This contrast is central to the film's discomfort. One man moves forward because he doesn't see obstacles. The other is crushed because he sees too many. The world treats them very differently. Forrest drifts through defining moments of modern history, not as an agent of change, but as a participant who never resists placement. He's inserted into systems and performs flawlessly. And the systems elevate him in return. Not because he challenges them, because he never threatens them. This detail changes how the story should be understood. The film isn't asking whether innocence is rewarded. It's asking whether compliance is mistaken for virtue, and that question becomes sharper through the presence of Jenny. She represents everything Forrest isn't allowed to be: curious, rebellious, wounded. She grows up in a world where authority is dangerous, not protective. Her response is flight, not obedience. She keeps searching for control through expression, intimacy, and escape. Where Forrest moves forward by accepting rules, Jenny moves by breaking them, and the cost of that difference is brutal. Their paths cross again and again, but they never align. Forrest offers stability without comprehension. Jenny seeks understanding without safety. Each envies what the other has, without being able to inhabit it. This imbalance reveals something uncomfortable about the film's moral landscape. The world punishes awareness. Jenny's intelligence doesn't save her. Her defiance doesn't protect her. In fact, it makes her more vulnerable. She's constantly colliding with systems that respond to resistance with force. Forrest, meanwhile, is shielded by his simplicity. He doesn't argue. He doesn't challenge. He doesn't demand meaning. He accepts outcomes as facts, not judgments. And because of that, history passes him gently. This isn't luck. It's alignment. As the years pass, Forrest accumulates achievements without intention. Medals, wealth, recognition. None of it changes him internally. He remains oriented toward instruction and routine. When loss arrives, he absorbs Italiano. He keeps moving. But this coping mechanism has a cost that the film delays revealing. Because motion prevents reflection, and reflection is where pain lives. Forrest's life works because it avoids stillness. When forced to stop, to wait, to sit with memory, something fragile begins to surface. A longing he doesn't know how to articulate. A connection he can't maintain. The people around him project a meaning onto his actions. They call him inspirational. They interpret his silence as wisdom. But Forrest never claims any of that. He's not trying to teach anyone. He's trying to follow instructions in a world that keeps changing the rules. As the first half of this story settles, one tension becomes impossible to ignore. If a man can move through history untouched simply by obeying, what does that say about the cost paid by those who don't? And more importantly, what happens when obedience is no longer enough? The film doesn't answer that yet. It just lets Forrest keep running, while something unresolved begins to catch up with him.